Good afternoon, I'm Steve Bannon with Responsive Respiratory, and today we are going to briefly go over the key external components that make up oxygen regulators. First, you'll notice two different regulators in front of me. The first is CGA 870, while the second is the CGA 540 connection. CGA refers to the Compressed Gas Association. Different cylinder valves and regulators have different designations that helps prevent the regulator from being used on a cylinder valve combination that has an incompatible gas. On the 870 connection, two index pins align horizontally with the valve. Using the T-handle on the regulator, it will tighten onto the valve. T-handles tend to be either plastic or metal, although rubber knobs or other materials may be used. Specific to the 870 connection, you'll see a small gasket or washer, terms that are used interchangeably. Responsive Respiratory offers both Viton and Buna N washers or gaskets. The Viton material has better heat properties, while Buna N has more scratch resistance. Both, along with the nylon washer or gasket, are acceptable materials. Colors will vary based on the manufacturer. When the T-handle tightens the regulator to the valve, the rubber compresses, or in the case of the nylon gasket, the gasket will crush, sealing the oxygen's flow path. We recommend replacing the rubber gaskets every 5 to 6 cylinders, although it should be inspected between each cylinder and replaced if any damage is visible. Nylon gaskets should be replaced each time the regulator is tightened and then loosened. Next, you'll notice the gauge. Responsive Respiratory's gauges read up to 3,000 psi, although most aluminum medical oxygen cylinders are between 2,015 and 2,216 psi, but they may be as high as 3,000 psi. The gauge guard color sequence is unique to Responsive Respiratory: orange signifying pediatric, black signaling 8 liters per minute, and green designates 15 liters per minute. There are two types of outlets. The first is a barb outlet, which allows for tubing or cannula to attach, while the second, DISS outlet, diameter index safety system, which is threaded, may be used to connect something similar to a humidifier bottle. The outlet is not specific to the CGA connection, and a CGA 540 connection oxygen regulator may have a barb outlet, and a CGA 870 connection may have a DISS or DIS outlet. Lastly, you'll see a flow dial on each of the oxygen regulators. The flow dial connects to a plate inside the body of the regulator, which has varying sized orifices which meter the flow of oxygen. Commonly, there are 12 flow settings, including 0, which signifies no oxygen flow. In our next video, we will review how to safely affix the regulator to each of the cylinder valve connections and set the regulator to the prescribed flow rate.